Did you know that PvZ had an RPG? Because I didn't. And I'm not talking about that cancelled one from a while ago. No, there was a full-blown RPG that took place in the PvZ universe that no one really talks about. Now, the reason that you probably haven't heard of it is because it was one of the many games exclusive to China. It was called Plants vs. Zombies All-Stars, and it was released on July 3rd of 2014. It was developed by PopCap and Gamecom. Before this, PopCap had worked with Tencent Games to develop Plants vs. Zombies Social Edition, and are currently working with TalkWeb Games, developing the Chinese version of Plants vs. Zombies 2. Gamecom themselves don't have a huge catalog, but they do have a Sims game, which, as you know, is also owned by EA. With that being said, I think Gamecom were the ones who fleshed out all of the finer details for this game. From what I could tell, the story of this game is pretty simplistic. From what I could understand, meteors fell from the sky which contained plants that helped defeat the zombies. But the story of these games was never the main focus. I mean, we're using sentient vegetation to fight undead zombies. I should say right now that this was technically a spin-off of the Chinese version of PvZ 2, so they share many assets and ideas. This game had 12 worlds: American Suburbs, yes, that was the actual name, Primitive Tribe, which was completely original, The Great Wall, which was inspired from the Chinese version of the first game, Ancient Egypt, Pirate Seas, Wild West, Kung Fu World, which was from the Chinese version of PvZ 2, Journey to the West, which was based on one of the earlier Plants vs. Zombies Chinese games, Viking World, which was just Frostbite Caves, Far Future, Dark Ages, and Neon Mixtape Tour. There were also tons of different things to do in the menu. There were daily rewards, limited time events, cards, which were basically loot boxes that could be opened for free every couple of hours or with gems. There was a leaderboard, an inbox to claim rewards, star rewards, which I'll talk more about later, treasure hunt, where you could send your plants on quests to get coins and stuff, the backpack, which you could use to sell things that you didn't need, daily tasks, which would reward you XP and stuff, the Zen Garden to upgrade your plants, the Daily Challenge, which was a way to fight bosses, a PvP mode, an endless mode, and the Dave Cup, which was basically another version of the online mode. Another thing that I might as well bring up now is that each level had up to 3 stars that you could get. These stars were how you open the aforementioned star rewards. Now I know this all seems like a lot, but I just wanted to mention it here. Because while all this stuff is cool, like the PvP mode, honestly, it's not that important to the whole game. So I just wanted to get all that stuff out of the way first, because now I'm going to try my best to explain the actual gameplay. So here's basically a simulation of what goes down. Let's say you're on like level 5. You click the level and you choose up to 7 plants to bring with you. But wait, because another special thing about this game is that it has plant classes. Okay, well maybe that's not that unique anymore, but you had Gentle Plants, which had Sunflower and a couple of other plants, Brave Plants, which had things like Pea Shooter and was the biggest class, and Tenacious Plants, which were your Walnuts and Bok Choys. So anyway, you sort out your 7 plants and you enter the level. Now I'm going to attempt to explain the combat mechanics. Here's a little chart that will help both of us. And yes, I did just take this from the PvZ wiki, but I did add to it. Anyway, this little button in the corner would tell you information about your plants, while the icon next to it was like your loot that the zombies dropped. The main thing that the zombies dropped was sun, which I'll explain more about later. Underneath the plants, the green bar was the plant's health, while the orange bar was its anger level. When a plant is attacking or being attacked, the anger level will rise up. Once it fills up, you can use their plant food. Speaking of that, these buttons on the bottom right corner were used to activate their plant foods. Underneath the zombies, there was the health bar and a blue, green, or orange orb next to it. Basically, this orb was a way to tell if the zombie was strong or not. For example, a regular brown coat would have a green orb, while a bucket head would have an orange orb. Also, if the orb had a skull in the middle of it, that's how you knew you were facing a boss. But there was also an autoplay button, which I don't really get. Like, why would you want the game to play itself? Anyway, the stuff in the bottom left is just saying like how many waves are left. But other than that, it basically just played out as a regular PvZ tower defense, with a little more, or maybe even a little less interaction depending on how you look at it. But there's still a couple game mechanics I haven't talked about yet. First, and least important, equipment. Equipment was a way to buff up your plants and make them even more powerful, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about it. If you are curious though, you could get it from star rewards and other loot boxes, and you could also sell equipment that you didn't want in the backpack. There's also some other stuff about it, but it doesn't really matter. While you could get some plants from the world you were in, the more prominent way to get plants was through things like cards and star rewards. But the more important aspect of this game that I have yet to mention yet, and I know some of you have probably been waiting for me to, the evolution system. Yes, there was an evolution system with Sun that you could get from all sorts of things like loot drops, cards, star rewards. You could level up plants. After you leveled up a plant 5 times in the Zen Garden, it moved to tier 2, for example, pea shooter to repeater. Then you could level it up even more to become a tier 3 plant, i.e. repeater to Gatling pea. And in my opinion, this was the selling point of the game. I think this is an extremely cool concept and I wish it was able to be fleshed out more. PvZ Heroes, a Plants vs Zombies card game released in 2016 and last updated in 2019, still has a strong fan base. I think that if a version of this concept was released internationally, that it would be just as, if not more popular. But unfortunately, this game was taken offline on July 11, 2020. And now, honestly, I'm not even that enthusiastic for the future of this franchise. But at least we got this game at all, because most games that have cool concepts, all we end up getting is just concept art. So at least people actually got to play this. Now, I wish there was more to talk about, but that's basically it. I am planning on making videos about every plant design and boss design from this game, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. And I just want to say before I go that this game is not perfect. Like, look at this. But if this game had full support from the PopCap team and was published internationally, I'm sure this would have been many people's favorite. But that's just about everything I had to say. I hope you enjoyed this little deep dive. I know this is a little different from what I usually do, but if you guys enjoyed it, let me know and I might do something similar for other obscure PvZ games. Oh yeah, and as always,